want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee! Coffee, 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 coffee!
How you doing, fellas?
Okay.
That's not decaf, is it?
Viennese cinnamon.
Wanga!
It's not decaf, is it?
No, and I apparently am not a Mexican child, or so I'm told, or a kid in Mexico.
But it's still a damn fine cup of coffee.
Yes, sirree. Welcome. It's UFO Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about some classic movies today that were inspired by real events that were happening in our country, and a lot of people seem to have forgotten that these events took place, which is, very convenient for the CIA and the U.S. Air Force.
Now, let's not forget one of the most important movies of all time when it comes to this topic, Gary. Came out in the mid-'60s. And since this is the Christmas season, it's so appropriate. Santa Claus versus the Martians.
Yep, that's a holiday staple there.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Who was in that? Was anybody in that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Nobody famous. My God. I think they made that on a budget of about $3, maybe 75 cents.
I remember it because the last time I saw it, I didn't get to finish it because O.J. Simpson was about to make one of his big runs. My dad switched it. We were in a hotel in somewhere in the Midwest. And I wanted to watch that movie, and my dad put football in. And I'm like, no! Oh, okay. And O.J. Simpson was playing. What happened with Scott? I think we lost Scott.
Yep.
Scott, we lost you. He's in the other room. But anyway, I can barely read anything right now. I'm gonna leave in a minute here to go get my damn glasses. Just let you guys know, my alarm clock is one of those Nook pads, and I keep it running during the night. I play, cartoons or movies like Johnny Quest or Perry Mason or Mission Impossible. I let them run through my headset all night long. Keeps me from having my really bad PTSD driven dreams. And sometime during the night, my pad de-energized and came unplugged or something. And so that's also my alarm clock. And so I naturally woke up at 9:52, hauling ass here into the studio because I hate being late to anything. I left my glasses and I don't have my coffee.
Well, I've got a almost never fail alarm clock. Her name is Bailey.
Bailey, yeah. See, I need a Bailey really badly.
And she lets me know it's morning, and morning means her first meal of the day. So she passionately kisses me until I wake up, and then I wake up and I'm up.
I looked up Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and the only name that jumps out at me is an 11-year-old Pia Zadora.
No shit.
Yep. Little girl's Pia Zadora.
I wonder if she did that. Or was that no? That was a different one. That was what's her name? Pia Zadora was really not a very good actress, as I recall, and she was mostly in Playboy style sexy romance movies. Yeah.
Hey, she did win a Golden Globe, so
What?
For new star of the year in 81.
What the hell out of you? Really?
For the movie Butterfly.
Huh. Okay.
All right. That's crazy. Here, I'm going to share a picture so everybody knows who we're talking about. Share screen. I got that song stuck in my head again this morning. You're Just Too Good to Be True by
Oh my. Oh.
Look at that. She was gorgeous, man. Is she still alive?
As far as I know.
She's like my age. She's my age.
Well, my very close buddy and my movie connection just sent me a copy of The Island from 2000, I believe, 5, with a 21-year-old Scarlett Johansson. Oh my God.
And I'm trying to remember it. There were some lawsuits about that film because it was too much like another film. Do you guys remember what that film was? And I liked the film.
I remember The
It was
Island.
kind of a dystopian. I saw it years ago. But kind of a dystopian, futuristic. It would have to be Logan's Run.
That was it. Logan's Run.
Yeah.
It was the people from Logan's Run, the estate or something, put in a lawsuit saying that it was too much like Logan's Run.
Actually, I'm seeing the lawsuit here, or a thing about it here, and it says it's parts the Clonus horror.
No, that's it. The Clonus horror. That's right. It's a really terrible movie. But if you watch it, it's almost beat for beat the same movie.
I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
It's really a turd. It is a turd of a movie. But the complete concept of it as a story, plot points, everything. I watched a video on it a few years back going, holy crap, they're right. This really is beyond being sort of like it. It's got way too many beats in it to not be based on some of the same film. But it's such a turd that they should be thankful that somebody remade their film. But we're going to get into some cool talk here. We're going to be talking about
super
some of the
sticker from
really?
Darius Munchausen.
Oh,
yeah, it's the beer with the coffee.
Well, thank you, Darius. Good to see you this morning. Who's all here? Let me go look at the list.
Oh, I haven't.
I was wanting to get my glasses and coffee at some point, but apparently I'm not going to get to.
I'm waiting for you to come back to make the.
I was hoping to get into it so I could disappear while Don's talking.
Well,
but
please go for your glasses. Go on.
No, I'm going to. Where's the list? Oh, I don't have my list.
I haven't posted yet because I thought you were going to go.
So I'm not the only one having a shitty morning. Yeah.
No. I beat you to that.
Yeah.
Well, Don, can you take over the show while I go get my glasses?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Do I get a bump for that, Gary?
Hey, we're not Cardinal.
If I take over the show, do I get a
We're
bump?
not Cardinal.
Don, I'll give you a fist bump.
Fist bump.
Okay.
I can't even see my icons. There we go.
Put on,
I'll be back.
Yeah, put on your thing there, Gary, and take off.
Don't forget pants.
So anyway, this being the Christmas season, usually California, sunny Southern California, is very mild. I can recall back in 1989, right before Christmas, as a matter of fact, December the 11th, Vicky and I, and at the time her mom was still with us, were flying back to D.C. to visit Vicky's family back there. She had a sister living in Virginia, and we took off from here, 75 degrees, flew back to D.C., landed in D.C., got off the airplane, and it was 9 degrees above. Oh my God, talk about culture shock. So anyway, we drive down to Virginia. When we came back, all of us were fighting a raging flu. Vicky ended up doing the whole trip lying with her head in my lap, just sicker than a dog. But we got back here, and the weather was once again, compared to everywhere else in the country, gorgeous. Now, with that being said, this year, it has been like the Arctic. Now, when you're talking California standards, I'm talking Arctic. Last night, it dropped down to freezing. Now, we got 2 orange trees beside our house, and we got to go out and check them to see how they fared last night. But my God, this, you talk about climate change. This year has been something tremendous. And the drought, okay, we had some rain a few days ago, which I don't know how much of a dent it put in the drought. But, hey, we're just hanging in there, guys. Now, the rest of you living around the country, for example, John, what's the weather been back there?
Well, it was rainy yesterday, but it was in the 50s. This morning it's 33 right now. So,
oh wow. Well, there's a hell of a storm going across the country right now. A hell of a winter storm. And I guess out here in sunny Southern California, we're not immune. But with that being said, some of the movies we were going to be discussing today were, in my opinion, and I've been doing this business a long time, were actually some of the greatest movies in the sci-fi genre dealing with UFOs and the idea of extraterrestrial visitation. Let me just pop a couple of names out there and see what you guys think. For example, This Island Earth. John, you're a you're kind of a historian about that. What do you think? This Island Earth.
That's one of the, in my opinion, one of the seminal UFO movies of all time.
It's got that classic giant-headed alien, which is one of my favorite things in that film. That's been replicated on so many cartoons from Futurama and others. And you always see that alien with the big ring eyes and giant head and the claws.
Yeah.
And classic UFO film. Freaking
and
love
there's
that
something else that very few people really pick up on. At least I haven't heard them really, discussing it. But aliens are living right here on planet Earth, passing as human.
Yeah.
Now, that is something that there may be more truth in that actually in reality today than a lot of people give credence to. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely, because, well, I mean, those of us that suckle at the teat of ancient aliens since, the book Chariots of the Gods, aliens among us, they are genetic hybrids too. I believe that. I'm not saying that I'm 100% sure, but there's one actress in particular who I believe is an alien hybrid, and she's so weird looking. And people think she's beautiful. I'm like, no, she's really weird looking. Good actress. She was in that George Clooney movie. What was it called? George Clooney, Michael. What was that movie called? Clayton. There it is. Michael Clayton. And her name is fucking Tilda Swinton.
Oh, Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton is a fucking alien hybrid. I'm telling you. Nobody should look like that. It's
so is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she has really got a weird face, doesn't she? Jennifer Lawrence, baby, she's got alien looks on her face too.
Hey, well,
and apparently she's the first. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the first lady action film star ever. She's paving the way, guys.
You know, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have these movies we're about to talk about today.
Pearl White was. What I'm going to say now is that apparently she can go back in time and do all of Pearl White's stunts for her that she did herself for all of her Perils of Pauline movies.
But I got to tell you, Gary, I may catch a little flack for this, but I find something about Tilda Swinton oddly sexual. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's called what do they call those pheromones? She gives off a scent. She's actually she did a nude sex movie back in the 2000s, back before her career really took off, over in Ireland, and she was oddly alluring in that film. And I was like going, "What's wrong with you, Gary? You've got the ability to." And she's very alluring, but goddamn, her face is so weird looking today. And if you've never seen that one haircut of hers, that is like, if you look up the movie, Michael Clayton, that George Clooney got the Oscar for, that photo of her is really, oh my God, these are so freaky. Look at these photos of her. I'm going to share it. I'm just going to share it. I'm going to stop trying to describe it.
Well, she was very androgynous in Constantine when
as Michael, as
the angel Michael. But you know, hey, you got to give her props. That lady knows how to act.
There she is. God, she's so weird looking. But yeah, there's something alluring about her, and I admit it. It's really bizarre. She is so bizarre. But as Michael, I'm like, who the fuck is that? Did they CG that face? And then I saw who it was. I'm like, holy shit, that's Tilda Swinton playing Michael, the angel.
That extra long neck doesn't help either.
She has like a ballerina's neck. She's got a really long neck, like giraffe neck. Unnaturally long.
Is she Scottish or Welsh?
That's a good question. Let me go look and see. No, she's just British.
British? Boy, I'll tell you. Now, I've always had great respect for the British. And years ago, my wife Vicky and I were invited to give some talks at the British UFO Research Organization, which they were having a symposium in Manchester. So we went over there and we ended up staying with our friends. At the time, he was still married to her, John and Ann Spencer. And one night they were having a little party at the house, and Ann had made a shaker of cocktails called Pimm's. And I still to this day don't know what the hell that stuff was, but it was good, okay? And she came out, and anyway, I made the mistake of saying she was an English beauty. And she suddenly stopped, looked at me in a very stern manner, and said, "I'm Scottish." Oh, okay. I won't make that mistake again. Oh, God. I guess that would be like somebody from Alabama going over to Great Britain in World War II and somebody call them a Yank, you know, which we were all Yanks, except if you were from Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gary
excuse me?
dropped out again.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know how it is. We have a chat member chat from that is
13
Chelsea.
months. Awesome.
Thank you very much, Darius.
Thanks for being a member.
You bet.
Thanks for being a member in a channel of dicks.
Yeah. Thanks for putting up with our assholery.
Oh, Krampus Jeebus says, Tilda Swinton is a Scot. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, she did a movie with, she played a mortician in a zombie movie with Bill Murray and that big, tall, lanky guy that played the new Darth Vader in, I can't think of the guy's name.
Hayden Christensen?
No. In the later movies, he played a deputy to Bill Murray's sheriff.
Oh yeah. The guy who Kylo Ren, yeah, but his
Yeah. That was the guy.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
And
that movie.
Tilda was a samurai sword wielding. Turned out she was an ET, which was kind of weird, but you guys saw that, right?
What?
I vaguely remember it.
Which one?
I'm trying to look up the name. Dead Don't Die.
The Dead
it's
Don't
on
Die.
it's on my to watch list. Mostly because
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out a few years ago, but I don't remember much of the plot. But Adam Driver has a new movie coming out this spring that I want to watch called 65.
The trailer drops today, doesn't it?
I saw it today. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it because the teaser, when they don't look at the mouth of the cave but look deeper into the cave that something's coming at them,
Yeah,
that stressed me out watching that. And of course, I want to point out that Adam Driver, despite being in the worst Star Wars films of all time, was a Marine. And I feel sorry for him because he wanted to deploy with his team, and he ended up getting a medical discharge. I can't remember what happened. He got injured, and it broke his heart not being able to deploy to Afghanistan with his team.
I may be wrong, but I think it was an accident, a motorcycle accident. I think
That might have been it. Well, if he was a motorcycle accident on not on duty, he probably also got Article 15 because
yeah.
Anybody who's in the military knows UCMJ considers us property, and if you injure yourself off duty, you can get Article 15 for that.
Well,
no, I think he was on duty.
Before I deployed to Vietnam the first time, I was based out of Okinawa, and I don't know if any of you former service guys and gals ever were stationed there, but that's a tropical island, hotter than hell. You got all kinds of things you can look forward to, typhoons and whatever, but the sun is particularly brutal. But right there in the Pacific Ocean, it's incredibly inviting. I had two buddies one day go out. They were swimming and carrying on, getting drunk, drinking beer, and they got sunburned bad.
Oh my God.
Second degree, sunburn. And they
I'm sure
both
there's a
got
little
Article
poisoning
15.
in that.
Huh?
I'm sure there's a little sun poisoning in there too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never got to go to Okinawa, but I learned a lot about it because my first martial arts teacher, Mr. Carl Hovey, God rest, he's still alive. Bless that man. He would tell me little stories about growing up there, how it was tough. And if you didn't know karate, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
As a kid, because like you just get attacked on the street by other kids. Crazy. But he would talk about how hot it was there. And it's where Isshinryu was founded by
Isshinryu, yes.
Yeah, by Tatsu Shimabuku, the founder of Isshinryu.
Studied Isshinryu.
Oh, you and I studied the same form. That was my first martial arts teacher, official. My brother was technically my first unofficial teacher, and he just taught me judo. But man, I loved Isshinryu. But did you get into this island Earth anymore?
Well, no, actually, we kind of got sidetracked. But
imagine that ADD theater getting sidetracked.
We basically, I had mentioned the fact that movie also featured quote unquote aliens passing as regular Homo sapiens living among us, and that's something that I have no problem accepting is happening in reality right now.
No.
Yeah. I love the poster art. I'm trying to get a good copy of it here right now. This Island Earth poster is fucking badass. It's one of those first real alien posters that just visually got my attention. Another poster that got my attention around that same time was Angry Red Planet, that giant bat spider.
Mm-hmm.
And that when I was a kid, that was something I was terrified of. Was the potential of bat spiders.
And everything was shot through a red lens.
Yeah. That movie was crazy. Let me see if I can find this dang poster. Is that it? Yep, here we go. Open image, new tab. There we go. I found it. So now I'll share the screen. This is that alien I'm talking about too. I love this damned alien. Is it going to let me?
Which in the film was described as being a biologically created creature that was to help as a worker for the aliens.
Ooh.
But this one got injured or something, and it was defective, and it basically went off programming.
Yeah, and there's the shot of it. The people are being kept in these tubes, and she's loose in that damn alien creature. God, that thing was scary as hell. Comes out. Oh, beautiful poster. I love this poster.
Oh yeah.
And as I recall, I think it's the famous artist. Last name is Brown that did that poster too. He was best known for like doing the Bible epic films like Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur, and shit like that. He did Gone with the Wind. Great artist, man. And but he was also known for doing The Creature from the Black Lagoon. A lot of monster movies from the late 50s, early 60s.
Now there was another film that came out in the mid 60s that I very seldom hear anybody ever discussing it. But when I first saw it, as a matter of fact, not too long ago, just out of nostalgia, I watched it again. And there are some scenes in there that when I first saw it as a young kid, it freaked me out. And that movie was Robin Crusoe on Mars. No, not Robin.
Adam West is in that.
Yes. Yes. And the UFOs that flew in looking for the escaped slave, played by who was that guy that played the slave that Robinson Crusoe basically befriended? That those scenes with those UFOs just popping in, stopping on a dime, firing their weapons at the surface. Boy, that was something else. That was something else. That really stuck with me.
Here's a better look at that alien from This Island Earth.
Yeah, man. Look at that thing. Crab claws.
As my buddy would say, a guy in the suit movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind those, mind you. I enjoyed films like that as a kid, but good God. I think one of the films that really surprised me was Earth versus the Flying Saucers, which is literally kind of a making of what happened in DC into a sci-fi film. And Ray Harryhausen, famous for doing the miniature monsters and stuff and animating them, did the saucers for that film. And it's also the saucers in that film, Ray Harryhausen's film, that inspired Tim Burton's
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks. Yeah, because he made him look like, he even does the DC scene. And
by the way, Donald Kehoe, who headed up NICAP, loathed and despised that movie.
Oh
yeah. What do you guys know about NICAP?
I don't know much about him, but what was his beef?
Real simple. NICAP at the time when Kehoe took it over, about 1956, was headed up, the board was headed up primarily by high-ranking military people, many of them that had served with Kehoe. Kehoe was a 22 graduate of Annapolis, the Naval Academy, became a Marine Corps officer and aviator. Donald Kehoe led the first squadron into Guam to put an American military presence there. And basically, he was injured severely in an air crash. And he ended up medically retiring. But he kept his rank. He was a major at that time. Then he became, in the 30s and the 40s, a very well-known aviation writer. And during the war, he was called back into service, served primarily at the Pentagon. And after the war, when the UFO story broke, began tracking that and soon became very convinced that there was a reality to it. And he wrote a series of articles which became his first book that he put together. And basically, it was a national smash bestseller. Then he became a thorn in the side of the Air Force.
Now, wait a second. I got a question, Don. Is he the one that went on with Dan Rather?
Yes.
Okay, I know who he is. Okay, go for it.
Well, one of his classmates, that he graduated with, became Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter. Do you know who that was?
No, I don't know him.
He was the first director, Gary, of the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. After Harry Truman, began the CIA out of the old OSS.
Right after Roswell.
Exactly. Well, Roscoe Hillenkotter sat on the board with Kehoe and was a pro-UFO proponent. He agreed with Kehoe, but to be perfectly fair, he may have been situated there to keep an eye on what Kehoe and NICAP was doing. I've never not, considered that. But Donald Kehoe and NICAP was weird. And here's why he hated that movie. If you were a witness and you saw a UFO, now remember, this is the 50s, and there were a lot of reports coming out from airline pilots, from police officers, from just Joe Six-Pack civilians, and military pilots. They were still slipping through the cracks. That was cool if you saw something in the sky. But NICAP had an almost knee-jerk reaction to any reports where the UFOs touched down and landed. I know it makes no sense, but that's what they were doing. And especially if you saw an entity leave the saucer, that they just discounted them out of hand. Well, when this movie came out, and here were not only the UFOs flying in the sky, at the time, the movie was actually associated with one of Kehoe's books, which he hated, okay? And then these little guys get out and they start attacking everything. Kehoe he wanted nothing to do with it. They were trying to stay so above and pure because his ultimate game was to get Congress to hold unbiased hearings on the UFO situation. That's what was going on.
So do you think that there's a possibility that this movie was meant to do damage?
Well, possibly. It's not inconceivable. Look, in 53, right after, in January 53, which is just a few months, 5-6 months, after the DC overflights, all right, people were freaked. Now, they had a scientific meeting that was convened. It was actually, although at the time it was not known, under the auspices of CIA, okay, on the UFO problem. And they saw it as a huge problem. And this meeting, they brought in some of the top scientific and military talent in the United States. And it was not to try to figure out what are UFOs, what do they want, why are they here, okay, are they hostile, are they benign? No, none of that. It was, how do we contain this? And some of the ideas they came up with included getting some of the top names of the day, okay, like Walt Disney, Arthur Godfrey, and others that were then huge super media talents to basically, in a soft shoe manner, poo-poo the UFO thing. And then Disney, which had worked hand in glove with the Department of Defense since World War II, began putting out very funny, very hilarious UFO-themed cartoons to kind of ridicule it. Yeah. My favorite was Marvin the Martian.
The Earthling has stolen the X-23 space modulator. Go get him, K9. Oh, you Earthlings.
Yeah,
that was Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. That's Warner, but still. I believe in Hollywood being used by the CIA. and CIA directing things to happen. And I would not be surprised at all that counter intelligence groups against what Kehoe is doing. I mean, because everybody, and you're right, John Osteen, it was Mike Wallace. It was Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes that he appeared on. And
It wasn't 60 Minutes.
No, this is way before it. This is way before that shit. This was Mike Wallace's show. He shows up on Mike Wallace's show, and as they start getting into it, they have an absolute breakdown.
Well, that's because Kehoe referenced 4 documents, okay, that in his eyes proved the reality of the UFO phenomenon. And Wallace went to the Air Force. At that time, the guy who was, I believe, heading up Project Blue Book was an Air Force officer. I believe he was either a light colonel or a colonel by the name of Thacker. Okay. And Wallace asked him about these 4 documents before the show. And Thacker said, look, he said, 3 of those documents do exist, but they don't say what Kehoe says they said, and the 4th doesn't exist. Well, he was lying through his teeth. All 4 documents did exist, and I'll tell you a little sidelight about that story in a second. All those basically did exist. They did say what Kehoe said they said, but Wallace basically called him a liar on TV. And then at the very
Mike
end,
Wallace is a piece of shit? No way.
Big time. Well, now, back in the early 90s, when I began my radio show, my first radio show, which was called UFOs Tonight, starting in 94, I had met and became close buddies with Dwight Schultz, okay, of the A-Team, Star Trek. He played Lieutenant Barclay. He was on Voyager. He was, as a matter of fact, he played the guy that invented the A-bomb with...
he played Oppenheimer?
What the hell was... Yeah, he played Oppenheimer. What the hell was that movie with...
Mulholland Falls.
No.
No?
No. It was all about the Manhattan Project and the development of the atomic bomb. Okay. Now, Dwight was a very interested guy when it came to the UFO situation. He believed that they were real. He thought some cases, beyond any doubt, were ET. And he was fascinated by the government lying and deception. Okay. So he began co-hosting with me on my show, which at the time was called UFOs Tonight. Very popular radio show. And make a long story short, one day we were talking on the phone. I had a audio copy of the Mike Wallace interview with Kehoe. And Wallace was still alive. And he said, you know what? He said, I can get his address. I'm going to write him a letter and ask him about that. And basically see what he thinks today when he was proven to have been hoodwinked by the Air Force. So he wrote this really eloquent letter. And he brought it in. We read it on the air. He sent it to Mike Wallace. Then he never heard from Wallace, and he followed up. And Wallace never responded to it. So basically, Mike Wallace not only was a piece of shit, but he was a shill for the government. And Krampus, Jeebus, just hit you with a back door, Gary.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, I can't get to the thing. So, Martin, can you play the video for him? John, anybody?
I don't have. I'm not on my personal account. I'm not on the.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna go check the back door. Back door.
There we go. I found the film you were talking about, by the way, Don. Here it is. It's Fat Man and Little Boy.
Fat Man and Little Boy, yeah.
There it is. And that's Dwight Schultz right there is Oppenheimer. Speaking of that movie, that's also features John Cryer as the scientist who accidentally exposed himself and protected everybody with his own body.
Right. Who died a very agonizing.
Oh, what a horrible death that guy had.
Debilitating death, yes.
But Cusack, as we all know now, lost his mind this week and attacked our good friend Tom. Tom is I love Tom. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge. He just goes out there and he'll say shit to these celebrities. He's not afraid to say anything to him. And for some reason, because I've been doing it for years, saying shit to celebrities and not getting blocked. He gets blocked, man. He gets attention when he says stuff to them. I love that. I know, honey. It took 45 minutes to finally get a back door. Thanks, Krampus, you son of a bitch.
So, Gary, what, in your esteemed opinion, makes a celebrity a celebrity?
Well, of course, if you look at the derivation of the word, they're celebrated. That this is somebody who's celebrated for something. And anybody can really be a celebrity. My favorite celebrities, as guys know, are military veterans. I like military veterans. They're my favorite celebrities. But rock stars, TV stars, girls known for sucking somebody's dick on a homemade video, make a whole career out of it.
Paris Hilton?
Hilton, Kardashians, sex tapes. It's all about who you're fucking and how you become famous. That's still a form of celebrity for some reason.
Hey, by the way, I've stopped counting your fucks.
Yeah, okay. After 20 minutes, I was like, okay, calm down. I can cuss again. Yeah, when we hit about 23 minutes is when I dropped my first F-bomb.
You need to stop making stupid people famous.
That's my big beef is stupid people who say stupid things. Celebrities who've lost relevance try to recreate that relevance by saying something absolutely stupid that some of the stupid people
like Jennifer Lawrence,
crazy left, say shit. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, she's trying to be like all like feminist and saying that, women weren't allowed to do these things. That's really where she was going. She was saying something completely stupid and then found a new way of saying it even more stupid by saying she was the first to ever do that. And it's like, look, man, Clara Bow, there were a lot of fucking actresses going all the way back to the silent era. The one I showed you from Perils of Pauline, man, they did a scene in one of her films. It might've been the very first one where they were on an actual fucking flowing river and it had ice on it and she had to jump ice. Director says, "You'll be okay." Do it. She did it. Thinking, I guess this is safe. She survived. That was scary as shit. Running water, and she's going from ice, big chunk of ice to another piece. Silent movie. There are women who put their lives in danger. And it's not like it's the old days and that's happened. Quentin Tarantino did that with Uma Thurman. He's like, the stunt woman wasn't there, so it's like, it's okay. It's an easy road. Just get in the car, gas it. We'll film it.
Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton. Oh, my God.
Fucking Jennifer Lawrence, man. I swear to God. She looks so cute. And then she talks. And then you're like,
Sandal Bergman.
Sandal Bergman, yeah.
What do you expect
Yeah.
from someone with a junior high education?
She's God, that was really stupid what she said. And they're trying to porn bots are here. Sec bots.
What are you talking about?
The goddamn robots, John!
Yeah, somebody got it before I did, so I got to still see it in my fucking screen. Thanks, whoever that was, Martin. I'm not saying it's Martin, but it was Martin.
No, it wasn't me.
Jeebus.
Oh, was it Jeebus? Jeebus. God damn you. So I do want to show these shots though before we go to anything else. Share screen. These are some amazing shots done by I've said his name multiple times, but now I forgot his name.
Ray
Ray
Harryhausen.
Harryhausen. Going into the Capitol building. That's one. Let me get the other one. Where it actually strikes the building is like my favorite one as a kid watching that shot.
Do you remember Robinson Crusoe on Mars? Those UFOs.
I love that. Yeah, I remember
dipping
that.
in, stopping just on a dime, and then firing their beam weapons. Oh my God! I don't know what it was about that scene, but it literally lit up my mind. There was
There's that
something
shot.
so spooky about that.
I'm going to actually get up real quick, see if we got any images of that. Man, some of the matte paintings used it. Here it is. Here it is. I found it. Let's share that one. Boom. There it is. And I got to be honest with you, I am positive that was a refurbished ship from War of the Worlds.
Might have been.
I absolutely believe it was.
Yeah, it makes sense. You can kind of see it in the lines.
Yep. And it was just used. They would come in, they'd zip in, stop, and then zip out. And I remember that. It was a good film. Do I have the poster here? See if I can find the poster. No, it's too small. There we go. Copy. Link. There we go. There's the poster.
Yeah, and Adam West was in that film. A lot of people forgot that.
Yep, there he is right here. Yeah, I loved that movie as a kid. My two favorite Mars movies as a kid were Robinson Crusoe on Mars, Angry Red Planet. I love both those films. And then I saw War of the Worlds when I was about 8. And boom, that was my third favorite. Oh, what was it? They had some, oh God, they kept some great moments from even the radio broadcast. You actually passed that actor who's in The Thing. He ended up becoming a voice actor in the 60s. And he's playing the TV reporter standing there reporting a lot of the dialogue from the radio drama as that we pan past him and follow our hero in the movie. And I thought that was a really nice nod to the Orson Welles radio drama. But there are those, by the way, speaking of that, that do believe that was reality and not a show. I know that it was a show, but that's an interesting thing that they believe that the show was designed to cover up the actual incident, which was the plot of the TV series War of the Worlds. That the show was designed to hide the true story. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Which incident are you referring to?
War of the Worlds, the radio show. that the radio show that Orson Welles did was designed to cover up the actual incident that was taking place in New Jersey?
No way. I
call bullshit on it too, but
that guy that I mentioned that Vicky and I stayed with, him and his wife, John, excuse me, Spencer in the UK, is a researcher. He's much more skeptical. Okay. He is not, I would not ever classify him as a UFO quote unquote believer, but he is willing to be convinced with the evidence. And back in the 90s, he did an exhaustive investigation on the Orson Welles War of the Worlds thing, because at that time it was still being billed as having caused a massive public panic about that show. Well, there probably was a bit of a panic by some of the more, I really hate to say this, but the moronic public, because there were war nerves at that time. The Nazis were on the march. The Japanese were on the march. There were things that happened that had the American public upset, like a gunboat in China. An American gunboat was shot up by Japanese aircraft. Do you recall that, Gary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there were things that were happening, and then this came out, and it was obviously Mercury Theater. Come on, it was a classic, well-known story from the late 19th century, War of the Worlds. But there were people, because at the time they made it very modern, etc. But no, I've never bought into the thing that it caused a massive public panic.
And it did scare some idiots out there that came in, because Orson Welles, I believe, did this on purpose. Did not
publicity. He wanted the publicity
from doing the broadcast, doing it very realistically, like a actual radio news broadcast. Did it on purpose, and only did station announcements twice during the production.
Mm-hmm.
And the panic was already happening, and if you've ever watched that movie, you remember that movie that came out back in the late 70s about the night America panicked, about the incident where people were going out there shooting up water towers and shit.
Yeah.
I love that little movie, and I like the actor, by the way. I forget his name. Did a great Orson Welles. He really nailed the voice. One of the great performances of television. And I love that little. Do you remember that telefilm? Do you guys remember that film? Yeah. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. I got to find that movie. Now that I think about it, it's like, I'd like to watch that again. It was really good. But really, people actually believe that was a cover up. And I'm like, how can you believe that? There's no evidence of that. Look for things that have some evidence, some residual evidence of something. That one, that's just pure, was absolutely for making Orson Welles famous. That was really what he was doing that for. He wanted to become famous, and it made him famous.
Well, it's kind of like, and I don't want to get way, way, way off the reservation, but it was like the truthers with 9/11. Okay. There are still people today that are willing to die on that mountaintop that 9/11 was a government false flag operation. I don't. Okay.
No.
I know enough, and I knew enough people that were still involved with intelligence. Okay, that I've talked to. No, that was an Islamic terrorist thing. All right.
Yeah, it happened. It was real. This is the movie right here. The Night That Panicked America. And this is the actor Paul Shinar. Nailed Orson Welles' voice and everything. Vic Morrow was in it. John Ritter, Meredith Baxter, Tom Bosley, Will Gear was in it. Eileen Brennan, of course, Casey Kasem.
And he was a commie. He was a commie scumbag, by the way.
Who
Will
was?
Gear.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Don.
Will Gear. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
You can do better. Please stop.
Scumbag.
No.
He was a commie scumbag.
Dude, you're being redundant.
Commie scumbag. Yes.
Yeah, I just looked it up in the dictionary. It does. It says see commie. But yeah, I love that movie though. Yeah, Will Gear, man, comes across as that loving old man, not duttering, but loving, like really caring. That was a false facade. He was a big red. He was not a traveler. He was a fucking commie, not a pinko. And if you don't know what a pinko is, very simple explanation. That is your typical American communist supporter who's not really immersed in it, not really carrying a pin yet, wearing a pin. They're not initiated yet. Once they become initiated, then they become full-fledged commies. They become red. And we had a lot of pinkos in the U.S. from the 1920s on. They infiltrated the United States on all levels. And if you think that it's an accident that after the commie witch trials of the 50s, that all of a sudden there was this silence and they just went away. No, they infiltrated the education system. They decided to go the soft way instead of going hard after the Constitution and the government, to instead infiltrate the future generations and through education. And that's what they did. They took over education. That's why there's so many commies in public schools and in colleges.
Well, Lenin said, give me 4 years to teach your children, and I will build a or something about that. I forgot what the whole quote was, but basically that a tree that won't be torn down or something along those lines. But basically, give them 4 years to indoctrinate your children, and they'll be commies for life.
Yeah,
that's why I went nogging last night. You
went nogging last night. Yeah, it's like I don't know. What is that Irish movie, horror movie with the monsters from the deep? They're attacking this Irish village, and the only way to fight these things is being drunk. It's a great fucking movie. It really is. Graham Nolan, from Batman and all that shit, comic artist buddy of mine. He's the one who turned me on to it. He goes, Gary, you got to check this movie out. It was on Netflix, and I went and I checked it. I'm like, holy shit, this is a great movie. The only way that they can't take you over is to be drunk. They can't take over a drunk mind. And of course, they chose Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, but
tis the season to go nogging. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is always good to nog. Well, some people don't like it. I was surprised Scott doesn't like it. He lost connection. That's why he left the show early. I thought because he's a big Christmas guy, loves Christmas. So I assumed incorrectly that he liked nog, and he's like, no, that stuff is gross.
I don't like eggnog at all either.
Oh, fuck both you guys. Don and I'll drink our goddamn nog by ourselves.
You can have mine.
My wife discovered. Yeah, by the way, Vicky's her name. Did you hear her in the background?
Hi, Vicky.
She hates it when I say my wife. My name's Vicky. Okay. She discovered almond milk nog. Almond milk. It's not bad. Not bad. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I tried it as my creamer yesterday. I'm not going to do it again. It wasn't bad.
Pricing.
Now I get the real stuff. Okay, my nog is the real stuff.
My nog brings the girls to the yard.
Yes, sir. The real McCoy.
My nog brings the girls to the yard. All right. The problem is we're having too much fun. I'm still hoping against hope Mrs. Ecker will return for at least. Look, dude, John, I'm going to get her on this show, dude. I'm going to get her on the show. Vicky's awesome, man. One of these days, get her to sit down and talk about the history of UFO magazine. And
well, back in the day, okay, during the run of my first radio show, Vicky had a segment that she was on almost every week called the UFO landing pad. Okay. And in the second hour of the show, as we'd come back from break, she would do like current updates, news stuff, reports on personalities in the field. And she really did a hell of a job with that. And I tried to get her to do it later. Vicky, I'm on the air. Oh,
I didn't catch it. What did she say?
Well, if he pays me $500 an episode, I'll do it. Yeah.
I will give her $500 worth of I love yous.
Gary says he'll give you $500 worth of I love you.
Hey, that's more
but there are people out there. I think Father John Ostains, I think he heard her do he heard her do those landing pads, and they really were good. I'll have to find one of those, pull it out, and play it one of these days for you.
I'd like to hear that. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and we've hit the second hour, so share screen. And here we go. The mother of all UFO movies, The Day the Earth Stood Still, came out the same year as Thing from Another World.
Yes.
And Gort, there he is, Gort. I can hear her baking or doing her attempt at baking.
Yeah.
Just throwing the pans around.
It's like when I'm trying to take a nap, she keeps talking at me, and I said, "Sweetheart, you still don't have that concept of a nap down, do you?" So
here is, of course, the poster. I love the poster.
You realize that was a metaphor, that whole movie, for Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, and I get it too. Yeah, I get it. They did a much better job with it than Steven Spielberg did with E.T.
Yeah.
And I love this. This is one of those subway posters. What you would see in subways and stuff.
I interviewed the director for that. And he...
Oh, wait a minute. What?
I interviewed...
Really?
Yeah.
You interviewed Robert Weiss?
Yes. I met him at a party. This is back in the 90s. I met Mr. Weiss at a party through a producer friend of mine that knew him. And so I walked up, told him who I was, introduced myself. And I said, "By the way, sir, I've got a radio show." And I told him what it was. And I said, "I would love to interview you about the day the Earth stood still." And he couldn't have been nicer. He said, "Oh yeah, sure." So yeah.
Here
Andy,
he is.
I'm a
This
name
is Robert
dropper.
Weiss.
Yeah.
Look at some of the films this man made. He
Sand
made the
Pebbles.
only
The
version of
Andromeda
West Side
Strain.
Story. Sound of Music, yeah, Andromeda thing, Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But my favorite film of all of the films he made was a little film he made in the 60s. I'm trying to find it here. There it is, Sand Pebbles.
Yeah.
This is absolutely one of my favorite military films ever made. Steve
Andromeda
McQueen. And what a cast. Richard McKenna, Steve McQueen, Richard
Bergen.
Attenborough, Candice Bergen. That was her first movie. Mako.
And she was so freaking hot in that movie.
And here's one of my favorite. Oh yeah, Gavin McLeod was in it. Joe Turkel from Blade Runner, as well as 3 different Stanley Kubrick movies. But Simon Oakland, I swore as a kid, this guy was who Fred Flintstone was based on. Because he just naturally sounded like and looked like Fred Flintstone.
Carl Kolchak's
boss. That's right.
Boss.
That's right. Simon Oakland was a great character actor. You had a great cast. Look at some of the cast in this movie, and just Barney Phillips is in the movie in a bit part. Let's see, Ford Rainey, another great actor, playing just a small part in this movie. What a movie! What a movie! And of course, Candice Bergen represents your hippies of today in the film as the girl that's with the missionaries and is against war and gets herself into a pickle and costs the lives of a couple of men, that have to get her out because her hubris over her beliefs. And that's been covered before. There was one of the Zulu films that covered the hubris of missionaries and how they would get military men killed because they just thought that the Lord would protect them. It's like, no, the Lord will send militaries. What happens? Lord sends a military and they give their lives for you being stupid. And that final scene with Steve McQueen where he pretends like there are more of them, it's just him with that BAR, man. And he's almost there. And he even says the line, I was almost there. He almost gets out and he gets nailed by a sniper.
During the filming of that movie, there was a political crisis, excuse me, in Taiwan. And they had to shut down production. All right.
Ooh.
And just about everybody got out except some of the principal actors. And basically, Gary, they were held hostage until it was settled. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I guess that's where I basically earn my nerd label. But I knew that.
Oh man, you have said some things, man, that has just proven how much of a nerd you can be. Because you and I nerded out one day, not on a show. We were just talking, and the two of us were nerding out over some stuff. And I'm like, "Holy crap! You absolutely carry a nerd card. You've got your photo on it, a stamp of approval. You're a fucking nerd, dude. I love that." Good God. But Sand Pebbles is still, in my opinion, one of the greatest, because it's not a war film. It's a military film. It's like Black Hawk Down. It's not a war film. It's a combat film. It's a military film. Because there was no actual war with Mogadishu. There was no war. But we've been dealing with problems in that province for a long time. It started all the way back with the Boxer Rebellion. And that's where Dan Daly got his first freaking medal, sitting on that wall with a Springfield rifle. I don't think he even had a scope.
No.
It was pure iron, open sights, man. It wasn't, was it? What was he carrying?
Boxer Rebellion 1900. The Springfield 03 was not adopted until 1903. They were still then, they had just made the transition from black powder to the brand new smokeless powder. And it was a 6mm Lee, I think it was a Lee rifle.
Yep, I just found it. Yep. It's the Lee Enfield U.S. Navy version, 6mm. That's interesting.
See, I just once again validated my nerd card.
Yeah, there you go. Stamped again. You get 14 of those, and you get a free lap dance from a nerd. Doesn't. I'm reading. It doesn't define whether it's a dude or a girl. It just says nerd.
Yeah. My wife looks at me, and Vicky says, "Where do you keep all that crap?" And I said,
if you're anything like Gary, it's in your back door.
Yesterday, I've got a copy. Let me see if I can find it. Where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Herodotus, the history. Okay. English version, obviously. And I was curious. And of course, I when I was in college, I was a history major, but I was curious about some of the parallels between the Persian invasion at Marathon in 490 BCE, and then 10 years later, when the Persians were marching down through Thermopylae. Okay. So anyway, Vicky came out and she was having her coffee, and she said, "What are you reading?" So I showed her. I said, "Herodotus, you know who that is." "Oh, yeah, he was a Greek guy, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah, he's credited being the very first recognized historian, and this is his book, The History." And she said, "Oh, that's interesting." She said, "So what are you reading?" And I told her, "Well, Marathon." And I said, you're familiar with Marathon, right?" "Yeah." And I said, "Then Thermopylae." She said, "Okay." So I gave her a 20-minute lecture on what had happened. And she sat there listening to me. And then she got up and she left, and she said, "You know, sometimes, Don, I wonder about you."
Hey, I do want to mention Cam just dropped in. She said, "Hello, everyone. Can't type very well. Got an infection in my arm." And then she continues to say, "Sam Pebbles is one of the greatest movies ever made, and possibly Steve McQueen's best role next to The Great Escape. The Cooler King." I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of Bullet, too. I showed the chase scene to Anima. We're going to watch the whole movie, but she and I just watched an episode of Archer, which was a huge nod, that one episode, to Bullet, including the car they're driving. And I said, "Yeah, that's from this." And so I showed her the actual scene, and she was like, "Oh, I went to see that film." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is the father of the modern chase film, because before McQueen and Bullet, all we had was the Keystone Cops kind of chase scenes. They never really put much effort into it. Bullet put you in the driver's seat as well as the grill of the car. They would mount cameras on these cars going up over the hills in San Francisco and coming down. And it put you in the action. It was amazing. And the only film to accomplish something like that, the next film, was Freebie and the Bean with James Caan and Alan Arkin. Which, again, it's the first buddy cop movie.
I felt so bad for that Mustang. Honest to God.
Oh, the fastback. And oddly, as much as I love that car, I am not a fastback fan. I prefer the coupe with the window on the back, the flat window. It just, for me, that looks sexier. But goddamn, that is a really handsome car, man. And power, back when a muscle car meant something.
Well, those seats, I don't know if you've ever driven one. I have.
Oh, yes, I have.
Those seats were like sitting on concrete.
Yeah.
No cushion at all. I mean, you strapped in and you hung on. That was the
hung on for dear life. It's like my first honeymoon. And it wasn't her that had to cling on; it was me.
You know my first car. What my first car
she
was
was the one strapped.
when I came back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
My first car I bought, a 914 Porsche. Okay. Same deal with those seats. But I took that car, a blonde, okay, and I don't know what, 15 gallons of gas. And I drove from central western Pennsylvania to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in 8.5 hours.
Nice.
That was in 93. Or what am I saying? 73, 93. 73. Oh my God. That was a car. If it would have been possible, I would have married that car.
I got to show you my first car, and it was this exact color. Oh, yes, this is a beauty right here. Open image in new tab. There we go. Let me share this. My uncle gave me this car as a gift when I was 18, and here it is.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, my.
And I'm going to tell you, I did not know how amazing a car this was until my my ex-wife, my son's mother, Lori, was driving home one night while I was at work. And she had come to visit me at work, driving home in the middle of the night, like 11, 12 o'clock, and pregnant. She's in that driver's seat, and she goes through a blinking red light, checks both ways, and right around, came out of nowhere, she said, this car went right through the blinking red light on his side and hit her full speed about 60 miles an hour. Totaled that guy's car and barely dented the door on her car, our car. And all she did, the only injury she got in that was she bounced upward because all there was a lap belt. She bounced upward and her hair got snagged in the visor and it yanked a little bit of skin and hair out.
I got to tell you, Gary,
that car was a tank.
That car is very reminiscent of Sam and Dean's Baby.
Oh?
A little, yes.
You know who Baby is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a model of it.
So do I. So do I. It's a little one, though.
Oh, that is a beautiful car. What is that? The Impala. Yeah, it is.
60,
Absolutely.
60,
it's closely related to my car. That was the other model right next to the Bonneville. I had the Bonneville. And the Bonneville and the Impala were very similar, the same engine.
Might have had a Pontiac Catalina in white.
I got to tell you, though, man, good luck getting that thing to 60 miles an hour quickly.
It was a boat.
Even with the fucking V8 engine in it, man, it was like you were like, oh, I'm really gassing it now.
And you could see
I'm
the
at 20.
gas gauge go like this.
Oh, yeah. I used to joke it's 10 gallons to the mile. That was a fucking ship. It was not a boat. It was a ship. But it saved her because she probably would have been killed because that guy was doing 60 miles an hour when he hit the car. Barely damaged the car. It's like, I hate saying this, but, you know, the old joke. Yeah, I can pound that out. Little Bondo. Anybody that knows anything about working on cars, there's always that one guy. Yeah, I'll pound it out with a hammer. Fix it with some Bondo. It'll be great. Just like new. But let's see. What is this, John? I'm new to the show and never thought annual lists should be obligatory. But do you plan to have shows recognizing top movies, UFO stories? Oh, absolutely. Keith on Friday morning is going to do his list of the top streaming TV shows, TV and streaming, of 2022. I'm planning to do on Saturday morning fun time this week. My nod to the best films, sci-fi, whatever, for our 2-hour show. And we're going to go through an entire list of the best sci-fi, best action, best comedies of the year. I might throw drama in there, but I got to be honest with you, man. Dramas tend to bore me nowadays because they're not really very often written well. They focus too much on activism, not interested in that shit. And wow, man, he muted his mic and all of a sudden it got quiet in here. But great show today. Cam Ken, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you get to feeling better. I'm sorry you have an infection, man. Is it like something on the arm or is it something in your arm? Because those are scary. Those are scary. They'll usually put you on multiple antibiotics when you get it inside your body. But you bet, John. Join us on Saturday, and we're going to be going through Keith's. I'm sure going to have his list. I'm going to have my list. If John is here, I'll even recommend Martine, even though he rarely interacts with the show. I'll get him to get his list of his favorite films for 2022. And anybody that's going to join us, bring your list of your favorite films. Give me at least your top 10 films of the year.
Did
And of
any
course,
of you guys ever watch Cop Shop? Did you watch it yet? Gary?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did. Oh my God, I fucking love that movie, and I want a sequel now. I want it now. I don't want to wait.
How did you like the balloon guy?
First of all, do you know who he is?
No.
He really. I got to look it up real quick. Is it one word, Cop Shop, or 2 words?
One
word. It is absolutely a remake of Assault on Precinct 13. Absolutely.
Kind of,
yeah.
It
is absolutely, its DNA is in it all over the fucking place. But I thought it was more interesting what they did. And that dude that plays the balloon guy, let me find him real quick. Toby Huss is his name. Here he is. Let me share this guy. What a lot of people don't know about this dude is that he is one of my favorite Frank Sinatra impersonators. His Frank Sinatra, he's best known for having done rock songs from rock bands as Frank Sinatra ballads. And he fucking nails it. He nails it. Really, really good. Funny dude. He cut his teeth on Reno 911. He was always playing white trash in the show, like some white trash character. And just a great fucking comedic actor. And it took somebody who understands how to do comedy and not act like you're doing comedy to do that character. Because he's funny as fuck, but he's scary as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a fucking murderer. And that scene
sociopath. High
functioning sociopath. And the competition fights, arguments between his character and what's his name here?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler are so fucking funny because you don't know whether you could trust Gerard because he is also a high functioning sociopath. But he comes off very endearing, whereas Toby's just fucking crazy. Yeah. And he's funny doing it. He's like dancing and singing while he's shooting at her. It's like, I mean, he did something that Jim Carrey wishes he could do, is be taken seriously while doing comedy.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey can't do it. This guy can. Toby Huss is amazing. And this movie, dude, I'm so glad because I had downloaded it to watch and never got around to it because I hadn't heard anything about it yet. And she's badass as fuck. Holy shit. And I keep telling people, watch this dude. What is his name? Frank Grillo.
Oh, yeah. Frank
Grillo
is great.
He has been in several movies. The Mel Gibson movie he did where he's like in a video game. He's got to fight the boss character in the game, and his life keeps repeating in a video game. And he keeps dying and then coming back. That's a hell of a movie. Mel Gibson's the villain. What a movie. I love this flick, dude. And I immediately, when the movie ended, I immediately went and looked, when's the sequel coming out? And they are planning a sequel.
Well, Gerard Butler, I have dug him since 300. Okay.
Yep.
He and talk about somebody that worked to get that physique he had in 300. Holy God.
Even after all the working, they still CG'd his stomach abs, his abs.
Yeah.
But I got to
Oh my
tell you,
God.
man, as wrong, historically wrong as some of that stuff in that movie is, 300.
Well, the operative word, Gary, movie.
Well, it's based directly off the graphic novel. In fact, the reason why Frank Miller gets credit in the movie as a co-director is because everything in the comic book was used as a storyboard for the movie. He made it look like a live action version of the graphic novel, including the washed out colors that he used in the graphic novel. And of course, the whole thing that he left out was actually shown in the sequel, which is not very good. It's very bad.
I like the sequel.
It's okay. I have problems with the writing. The cast is great. It's got Eva Green.
I love the chick. What's her name?
Eva Green. Eva Green.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Was
But
not enough.
that actually, all the boat stuff that took place during the battle. They had to keep the ships blockaded in order to control the pincher hold. They had to, pincher hold them. You phrase. You're phrasing.
Joe doing okay, Martin, George, Joe K.
Phrasing.
I'm trying, Don. I'm trying.
But 300, I love that movie. Gerard, but everybody in that movie is really good. I loved her. Yeah. Oh my God, she's so fucking gorgeous. Oh my God, she's Leonessa's wife. She goes and kills that motherfucker.
I still can't get past her being Sarah Connor. Okay.
It's really weird. I did not even realize it until later that the woman who is banging her brother in Game of Thrones was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I'm like, holy shit, that's the same woman? Oh, but she's a good actress, man. She is really good. I like her. Cop Shop, going back to it, dude, absolutely across the board. I give that 9.5 stars. And I would give it a perfect 10 if not for a couple of moments in it. And I don't want to get into it. We should review that film on the show. We should review that film. I really do. We could do it on Military Wednesday, in the afternoon show. Not this week. This week we're going to be doing Christmas in the military, and really how veterans look at the holidays. Because, especially infantry, we bleed red, white, and blue. That's the thing about infantry. I remember one time I had a minister say that, atheists in foxholes. I said, there are a lot of atheists in a foxhole. What there isn't are leftist liberals in the foxholes. Good luck finding a leftist liberal in the fucking infantry. Good luck. It's like my buddy who's going to be on later this afternoon, Joe, that I talked to on the phone while I was talking with you, Don, yesterday. Joe, he was a rear echelon motherfucker. Still a fucking Marine. I don't care. I respect him. I love him. But yeah, he was a RIMF, rear echelon motherfucker. He was a mechanic. You didn't get to fly unless he. Yep. And guys that were going in the air needed people like him. He was a necessary cog in that wheel, man. But he's a rear echelon motherfucker. So no surprise, he's a little liberal. But you find a Marine or Army infantry guy that's a liberal, you have found a unicorn.
Do you notice how he answered when I said, "Hey, Gary, ask him if he was airborne"?
Yes. No. But I'm hoping more show up today. I sent out some invites for everybody, but we'll have a show. We're going to be just talking about, the holidays, because that's what's coming up here and how we celebrate it. And, one of the things I'm going to point out is when you get your boxes from family, guess what? You don't open those alone.
Nope.
You have to open everything in front of everybody. And if you got food, that's why.
My mom sent me a cake. This was for Christmas of 71. Now, that's the one that I ended up leaving to go back on emergency leave. But she sent me a cake, and I got this big box. Now, this is Nam, right? This is in Vietnam. And I could not wait to rip that box open. Well, when she baked the cake, she didn't let it cool off.
And it collapsed.
No.
What happened?
It melted to the
I
plastic.
opened the box and it was nothing but a big ball of fungus.
Ooh.
Ew.
And I told her when I got home, and I was going home because my granddad and all that. But I got home and she said, "Well, did you get my cake before you had to come home?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, Mom." "Well, how was it?" And then I told her what she did. She ended up baking me another one when I was there. But, oh, God, yeah. I had really been looking forward to that. But it was nothing but fungus and mold. Oh, God.
Fungus among us. Oh, yeah. My dad was a dick. And we'll talk about it in the later show, too. He sent me a literal empty care package as a joke. He weighed it down with a couple of pieces of wood. But it was just nothing but paper and 2 pieces of wood in it to make it feel heavy.
That is so fucked.
But he put a card on top that said, your actual package is still coming. I just thought you'd find this funny. And I'm like, no, Dad, I did not find it funny. I got excited. You asshole. And then, of course, my aunt sent a Christmas box to me. And I got the Peter warmer. And I'm sitting there and everybody's like, one dude, this Mexican kid I served with.
The what?
His name was Martinez. And Martinez picked it up and he's like a baby. He thought it was a baby hoodie. He goes, "Does it make me look like a baby?" And I'm reading it in the card and it says, "And oh, I heard it got really cold there, Gary. So I sent you a knitted Peter warmer." And as I'm reading that, everybody starts laughing. He pulls it off his head, throws it at me. And then one of the dudes, it might have been Kyle Fisher that said it, my buddy Kyle. He's like, "How's she know your size, man? That's messed up." This is what happens when you have to open your care packages in front of everybody. Oh, geez. But I want to go back and say something about this movie in particular, because going back to the day the earth stood still, it's a cautionary tale. It's a tale that I do believe helped inspire Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek, that there was united planets out there that were concerned about Earth and our atomic research and nuclear weapons. And so in it, basically, they very politely threaten us. And to prove how they could do us in or stop us is they stop everything mechanical. I can't remember how long did they do it?
There's a little hubris with that thought.
Well, of course, Hollywood.
Now, if you accept the idea of advanced extraterrestrial sentient life, okay, that can traverse star systems,
They work
Are
with
you
atomic
telling
nuclear,
me that they don't have weapons of mass destruction? Bullshit.
You don't
Because
explore without it. That's right.
when they first go out into the universe, they have no idea what's out there. And there are a lot of people right now that believe that the reason we haven't picked anybody up with SETI, well, actually, several reasons. Number one, they may be using a different type of technology. But number two, the immense silence is because they know there are predatory races out there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're out here broadcasting, hey, look at us.
Exactly. Although we're not as noisy as we were in the 50s.
No.
You might say we kind
60 light
of
years
got
out
over
there.
ourselves.
60 light years out there, because it's been 60 years since the 50s. Okay. Earth is still as bright in the radio spectrum as a star. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have we been seen if there's intelligent life out there? Yeah. We've been seen. But you and I are of the ilk that believe they've been here since the beginning. They're here. I think that there's just too many weird things. You know, some attribute it to God. I'm more of the chariots of the gods. That it just so happens that the distance from the sun and our distance from the moon somehow matches exactly to where we can have eclipses. That the moon is exactly the right distance and size to block the sun, exactly, fully, for the planet Earth. That all we see is the corona. That's really fucking think about that. What that requires. That's why you'll hear astrophysicists in particular get pissed at natural sciences. There's no God. And physicists go, look, I'm not saying who God is or what he is, but something did something. This doesn't happen by chance. You don't get the Big Bang accidentally. Because if it was something accidental, we would have repeats of it. It does not repeat. It happened one fucking time. Physicists and natural scientists do not get along, if you didn't know that. They have two different philosophies of how shit happens. You don't go to the enemy. Yeah, that's very true, Krampus. Wonder if UFOs will be as interested in new fusion discovery as they were with fission in the 1940s. Whatever aliens, I believe they're here. I believe they've always been here. They've always been here. The shit off of San Diego, the stuff happening at Skinwalker Ranch, which is not an isolated case. They're doing their shit, and they're just checking on us to make sure we're not a problem. If they were a threat to us, we'd be dead by now. If we were a problem, they would have killed us already. And there's nothing we could have done to stop them, which is why the U.S. government, DOD, Air Force, CIA, has been covering it up so long, because they wanted to keep that fantasy of we're in control when they're really not. They're only in control of information. Oh, Don, you're muted. Still muted. Oh, shit. He accidentally left. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. No. We're moving into the last 15 minutes of the show. I'm hoping Don makes it back. Because I know it wasn't a technical thing. I think he hit the wrong thing to unmute himself.
Yeah.
But I'll go back. Absolutely glad that Don recommended that movie. I fucking love Cop Shop. There he is. There he is.
Back again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Cop Shop, absolute highly recommend this movie. If you guys have not seen it, watch that movie and then go back and watch the original Assault on Precinct 13.
Well, actually, they made a sequel to that.
A sequel or a?
Or I'm sorry,
a remake of it. It's not very good.
A remake.
I hated it. I love the actors in it, but Ethan Hawke is a pretentious cocksucker. He really is in real life. I think he's a pretentious cocksucker. But Fishburne was in it, and he was good. He's good in anything, man. Ethan just thinks way too much of acting and what he does. It's so important acting. Whatever, bitch. It's like I said to an artist one time. I'm like, you guys forget that we're only one step away from doing toilet paper embroidery, our artwork. And John, Drew Frizzell, David Frizzell.
Yeah.
He laughed so hard when I said that to that dude. He's like, dude, can I steal that? And I'm like, you use it whatever you want, man. Because it's true. Stop thinking so much about what you fucking do. Enjoy it. Be passionate about it. But don't be a cocksucker about it, man. Don't act like it's fucking important because, only the fucking great artists of time are remembered, and they're remembered for a reason, because they changed the direction of art. They had an impact. And I got to tell you, not a fan of Picasso's Cubism period. Not a fan of it. I think it was stupid. I actually said this, Don, you'll like this. I was 13 years old at his house museum in Spain with my dad. And he took me into the room where they have all of his really weird artwork. The first room we went into was his early work, which was photorealism, great sketches, paintings, very realistic. And then he went through his deconstructive period with Cubism and all that shit. And I walked in there and I'm like looking around, and my dad says, well, what do you think, son? And I said, is this the kids' art room? And the museum person that was there, I don't know what they were, she got really snotty with me.
Well,
and she was like, you can leave the room. You need to not talk. And I'm like, but is this the kids' room? And she got really mad at me. And I was like being very sincere. I was not trying to make a joke. I was 13 years old and just was unaware who Picasso was. And but later I went, look, he became such a good artist that he was capable of deconstructing art. I'm not saying it's good, but it's interesting what he did.
There are people, God, I've got a frog in my throat today. There are people that consider what we're doing right here a form of art.
We're deconstructing the format of the talk show.
Now, in this field, and I'm speaking primarily of UFOs, the UFO phenomena, paranormal business, there are people that consider Long John Neville as the father of all this. And then you bring it forward. Do you know about Long John Neville?
The only Neville I can think of is the
Neville.
Neville. Oh, I thought you said Neville.
No, Neville.
No,
Long
I'm not familiar
John Neville.
No, I'm not familiar with that gentleman. No.
He was freaking huge in the 50s and the 60s out of New York. He had it was primarily a paranormal talk show, but he hit the UFO field hard and heavy. Look him up.
I'm gonna open something here so people can see who we're talking about.
And then his wife, Candy Jones, who had been a pinup model in the 40s, okay, quite the babe, big time babe.
Here he is.
Yes. It became a real conspiracy theory. Somebody wrote a book, and look this up, Gary, The Control of Candy Jones, who was Long John Neville's wife, had been a CIA operative used through mind control okay, including the fact that she may have been an unwitting assassin. The control of Candy Jones. But I mean, this field has a rich.
There it is, right there. The CIA's control of Candy Jones by Donald Bain.
Yes, she was hot.
So what was she an assassin for, and what was the
CIA?
plot? No,
CIA.
Who was she supposed to kill?
Oh hell, I don't know. I don't know. Read the book. I've got a copy of the book somewhere.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah.
Making me read.
But then when you come forward, the next big name is Billy Goodman. Billy Goodman. Now, I've got an association with Billy.
The baseball player?
No. Radio. Out of Las Vegas until he got fired. Billy has a very fascinating backstory. I'm not going to get into it now. We don't have time. But he did not hit it big until the Bob Lazar story. Okay. Then there were some other people that he highlighted on his show, which brought me into the mix. That'll be a fascinating topic at some time, Gary, for the UFO show, Billy Goodman. But
I have the transcript right here. If you guys want it, I'll get it for you. Let me copy this link. I'll put it in the chat. Here you go. I'll add it to the screen. Boom. There it is. Billy Goodman radio interview with Bob Lazar. I'm putting it in the chat now, guys. So there it is. You can actually go read this yourself. Very interesting. Is he still alive?
No, he died. He unfortunately had a habit of getting on a radio station, getting on a radio network, would blow it up, but his drinking got to him. He was unfortunately an alcoholic. But I ended up on his show one night threatening to sue his ass off the air. Now that's a story. As a matter of fact,
for
John
another day.
Osbane's, yeah.
No, not Bob Lazar, the interviewer.
Billy Goodman.
Yeah, Billy Goodman. He's dead.
Yeah.
Now, Bob Lazar is still with us, man.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a video recently of him with his hydrogen car.
Right.
That was an interesting thing, man. I was like, wow, fuck yeah. Of course, you know, what I tell people when I say, go watch this video. This is fascinating. I'm going to tell you the version he's using is fucking dangerous. Because it's not designed in a stable manner. And he even admits to that in the video. That, yeah, you wouldn't want to use this engine the way I have it designed. He says, but this is to prove a point. And it's like, too many people have died trying to prove a point. Stop doing that, Bob Lazar. We need you in the world. Telling your story.
Yeah, he had a conversion unit where he could turn water into hydrogen, which and
would run his car.
His vehicle was a Corvette, huh?
Yeah. No, I was agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, I love that. That's what's in the video, and it's really fascinating to watch. We should probably actually pull it up sometime. We're out of time today, but I wouldn't mind showing that, his hydrogen car, because what are they? I don't think they could copyright claim us on that. It's an information video.
You'd be surprised if they copyright claim you on.
Well, now they have armed these fucking assholes out there. YouTube has armed these people. You can pretty much claim anybody for anything. And guess what? Even after you prove that their claim is false, they could still get your money. They could still get it. I'm no longer monetizing my shows. These shows are not going to be monetized anymore. Fuck YouTube. That is so shitty what they did. Man, I'm glad we're going to radio. We have a chance. And by the way, I did talk about it last time, but I want to point out it is true. We KGRA signed the contract with 2 advertisers, and we're going to be using special codes for their product. And I'm fascinated with these products. These are supplemental products, and I'm very much about good, healthy supplements. And I'm curious what these things will do. And I'm ready to try them, and because I believe if we're going to promote these products, we should try them. And say what
Zach's in the house.
Hey, Kyle, you son of a bitch! How you doing, buddy?
Oh, he's breaking.
I love Zach's. I watched a little bit of his video last night. Looking forward to the show they're going to be doing.
Well, since we're at the end of the show, dude, have you read my Christmas story? You lying
Not going to talk
bastard?
about it. No. Dude, I thought it was only 6 pages. That thing's 28 pages. I was like, fuck. I'm not going to read all of it last night, but I read some before I went to bed, and I'm going to finish it. I'll finish it before the show today.
Oh.
Anima wanted to finish it too, but she's like, she's so sweet. God damn it, I love that girl. She got the book and she goes, Gary, it's 28 pages. We can't read this together. I'm falling asleep now. And she goes, I don't want Don to think that I don't want to read his things, because I do. I love his writing. She loves your writing, dude. I love his writing, but I'm so tired. My eyes are closing on me. I said, go to bed, baby. And she went to bed. And I got about 4 pages in, and I'm like, oh, that's it. Yep, I'm done. And I'm going to finish the rest of it today. I got 22 pages to do, 22 or 24. And what I do, by the way, again, I tell everybody this. I actually don't physically read much anymore because I'm so busy, but I have an amazing reader that reads to me. I have to put it in PDF. Sadly, I can't get it to work with actual text documents like Word or RTF. Yeah, it was 2:30 a.m. Honey, you don't have to explain. Your sleep cycles are all fucked up because you're in love with a guy halfway around the planet. So yeah, there you go. But dude, yeah. By the way, Dust Wolfen, we are going to set you up on Banana today. Martin and I are going to walk you through how Banana works. Martin?
That's not code for something, is it?
Yes, it is.
The freak are we talking about?
The one that controls your audio.
Oh,
the program, Banana.
Yeah.
Because your fan is so loud, we could hear it during the show, but I don't care. It was a good show no matter what. But I'm going to help you, so it'll cut that out. Banana will absolutely cut that sound out.
Well, I don't mind the sound. It sounds like the background sounds of echo bass. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. There is only one background sound that I will tolerate and appreciate.
The background sound?
That one. If it's not Star Trek, it's garbage. Or as Scotland says, if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Keely Chow, first in the house, Anima Confusa, love of my life, D. Bud Martin, Alex Moore. D. Bud was there last night for Toxic Tuesday. Fun episode. We did the weirdest James Bond movie ever made that's official by Eon Productions, which is Diamonds Are Forever. That's a weird fucking movie.
Piece of shit.
It's just not a very good film. I gave it like I think top 7.5, something like that, overall score. Terrible writing, terrible editing. But anyway, D-Bud was there. He watched it last night. Alex Moore, Dragon Ruse, Krampus Cheapest, John Ostains, the Comic Relief Crusader is a good friend of this channel, Kingsport Cal, Darius Munchausen. I think Darius was here last night too. Lord Thoth, Sox Bulletins, Penny, Christopher Moonlight Productions, Andy Morrow, Cam's Crash Courses. I hope you feel better, Cam. And of course, our good friend Zach's Kyle. Thanks everybody for being here today. Hope you enjoyed the show. and just looking last minute stuff. Oh wait, here it is, John Osteen. I can already tell I'm going to really like this show, from sci-fi cuties to Picasso cubism in a couple hours. This is John Osteen, what we refer to as ADD theater. Welcome to our show. Don, anything you want to add before we go?
Today, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Dangerous military
Pacific
nerd.
time. Yep.
Yeah, did I say Pacific?
I don't know. I didn't catch it, but all I know
well,
is
1 p.m. Pacific, and if you put 3 additional hours on that, it's East Coast time. But we're going to be talking about Christmas time when you're in the U.S. military, what it means to the men and women who serve the red, white, and blue.
And I'll tell you, no matter the celebration, starts the same way. Drop your cocks, put on your socks. There you go. It's just one more fucking day in the military. You just happen to get some good chow that day. Thanksgiving and Christmas, always good chow.
I'm still waiting for my Christmas dinner when I was up on the DMZ. Those lying bastards.
Those lying bastards. Sea rats suck.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being here, Don. Thanks for being here, John. And Martine, always thank you for being the right side of my brain. Everybody have a wonderful day. Don't forget, we have a show coming up in a few hours at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Mountain, 1 o'clock Pacific. Do not forget to watch the show. Hope you join us for some military Christmas talk. Everybody have a wonderful day. See you guys later.
Love you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield.
Sorry,
if you
Don.
enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode.
Letting us know.
Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture
Hey, Martine,
Minefield
can you send
on Twitter,
the invite to
Facebook,
the members to join
Instagram,
us?
YouTube, and Twitch.